Could Goku solo Magic the Gathering's Multiverse? Goku vs. X videos are a dime a dozen on YouTube. Viewers have been wanting to know if Goku could beat Superman for well over a decade now. You've got Goku versus other anime universes like One Piece and Naruto, Goku versus the Elden Ring universe, even Goku versus Jesus Christ. But one topic I haven't seen tackled yet is Goku versus the granddaddy of all trading card games. The long-running Dragon Ball franchise has pitted Kakarot against the likes of humans, androids, gods, demons, aliens, demons who are actually aliens who are actually demons for real this time, and Magic's multiverse is exponentially bigger than even that. There's more ground to cover here than can be done in this short video, but I'll do my best to summarize. Before we get started, if you like MTG and other card game related content, please like and subscribe, and I might do more wacky versus videos just like this one. As we begin, let's set some ground rules. First, I'm talking about in-universe MTG only. Since the advent of Universes Beyond, I don't feel like it's pertinent to have Goku go up against Rick Grimes, SpongeBob SquarePants, or Hatsune Miku, mostly because he wouldn't stand a chance against any of them, especially if Rick has his beard. This is strictly the bread and butter original IP of MTG. Second, I'll be citing Goku's current canon power as of the making of this video, meaning he has access to Ultra Instinct and everything below that. I'll also be referencing the movies when relevant, but since Goku is arguably stronger in the movie continuity than in traditional canon, I'll only be using them as references and not to tip the scale in Goku's favor. Third, I'm approaching this matchup mostly using lore and feats for both sides because I'm not trying to do a bunch of math, and I hope that's not a problem. Now, does Goku solo the multiverse? Let's find out. We'll begin with the basics of Magic the Gathering, vanilla creatures. There are a little over 300 creatures in Magic with nothing but flavor text, meaning no special abilities or hacks to speak of. If a grizzly bear has 2 power and 2 toughness, Goku can dominate that without blinking. Heck, he was icing dinosaurs as a kid before ever unlocking Kaioken, Super Saiyan, or anything else. Speaking of dinosaurs, that covers the debate about even Magic's biggest vanilla creatures. Ancient Brontodon, Gigantosaurus, Quakestrider Ceratops, they're all toast, probably in a single Ki Blast if Goku can't just kill them with a flick of his finger at this point. Goku was a casual planet buster early on in Z, so this isn't even really a debate. Even if we dip into the lore of some of these monstrosities like the hungry frog spirit Yargle of Yargle and Multani, Goku was detonating creatures like this back in the Buu saga just by powering up. Verdict: Goku clears. But as we all know, there's much more to Magic than base creature stats. What about keyword abilities? Let's look through some of the most common keywords everyone knows to see if Goku would have any trouble. Flying? Goku's been able to do that since Dragon Ball. Haste, First Strike, Double Strike probably won't make much of a difference if Goku always has his guard up, excluding the possibility of his Ultra Instinct just being faster anyway. Lifelink? Again, Goku and his pals have been tussling with vampires since Dragon Ball. While something like Cell's absorption power could be challenging, it's nothing modern Goku hasn't seen or can't handle. Reach? To be fair, Goku got burned pretty bad by Cooler's eye beams from the ground, but again, this depends heavily on the strength of the creature with Reach, so not likely to do much damage to him assuming he doesn't dodge it first. Trample and Vigilance are no good if a creature can't even break Goku's defenses in the first place. Flash, as in summoning at instant speed. Ultra Instinct aside, Goku was already able to move at instant speed from the start of the Android saga in Z, so again, not that impressive to him. And obviously Defender just makes a target a sitting duck. Hexproof and Ward could give Goku some trouble if he were a magic user, which isn't really his style since he focuses on physical martial arts along with ki-based attacks. Goku's techniques don't really lock on per se unless he's sensing someone's ki as a reference point for something like instant transmission, so I don't think these would be much of a problem for him. Verdict: Goku clears. There are 2 somewhat famous keywords that I think would give him the most trouble, and one of them is Deathtouch. I've stressed a few times already Goku's speed, but we know he's not invincible. He sacrificed himself to stop both Raditz and Cell, died after getting his body stolen by Zamasu, got assassinated by Hit, and if we're talking Dragon Ball GT, it's heavily implied that he at the very least left the world of the living peacefully and sailed off to the afterlife with Shenron. Main takeaway: Goku's obviously mortal. What's more, Goku has been shown to be vulnerable to biological threats, as he died from the heart virus in the true timeline of Z and succumbed to Frost's poison in Dragon Ball Super. Could Goku die to Deathtouch? Maybe. Again, this would come down to the speed, hacks, and overall battle prowess of whatever creature he faced off against who had this ability. I still think you'll have no issue against most of your cannon fodder 1/1s with Deathtouch since they probably won't get close enough to use it anyway. Verdict: Goku probably clears. One of the abilities that would be seriously challenging for Goku to overcome is indestructible. Goku isn't omnipotent, so he's not an unstoppable force, ergo facing an immovable object should have predictable results. Goku's only rarely faced threats like this once or twice in the past. In fact, the only two I can really think of are Garlic Jr., who achieved his wish for immortality in the Dragon Ball Z Dead Zone movie, and Zamasu in Dragon Ball Super, who achieved a sort of immortality by fusing with his universe. And how did Goku beat them? Well, the Z Fighters had to trap Garlic Jr. in his own Dead Zone in possibly the biggest Dragon Ball villain fumble ever. This dude literally got eternal life, and instead of continuing to manhandle the Z Fighters with his newfound strength, he used his only technique that could be turned against him. Yeah, he earned that L big time. Anyway, for Zamasu, Goku and the others really had almost no shot by the end, leading Goku to summon Zeno to delete the entire corrupted timeline. But this video is not about Zeno clearing the multiverse, so that doesn't count in Goku's favor. There are a lot of indestructible creatures in Magic, over 200 of them in fact. From a lore perspective, would Goku have any hope against something like Blightsteel Colossus or Atali? Probably not. That's to say nothing of creatures with even greater cosmic power like the indestructible Ulamog. How can you beat something that can't be beaten? What good is even the greatest strength in the multiverse against something that can't be broken? Even Goku's greatest power-ups unfortunately won't save him here, at least in a physical fight to the death. Don't count Goku completely out just yet though. He has a couple tactics that might work in his favor. Let's find out. 1. Master Roshi taught Goku the Evil Containment Wave or Mafuba technique, which first appeared way back in Dragon Ball and achieved relevance again during the future Trunks saga in Dragon Ball Super. For enemies that are just too powerful to kill outright, this can serve as a last-ditch effort to seal them away for good, and despite the name of the technique and its applications, it can theoretically be used on any living being, good or evil, although Goku is unlikely to use it on anything that's not evil. There is a caveat though. The difficulty of pulling off the technique successfully scales with the power of the target. A puny threat can easily be sealed, but characters like Roshi have been shown to lose stamina using the attack, and it has the potential to kill if sealing a threat that's much more powerful. Depending on the source, I also read that power scaling doesn't really matter for the technique, so I'm not sure which to believe. I also found conflicting information that suggests targets can still teleport out of it, although it's unclear why Goku Black didn't do so immediately when it was used against him. Could the Mafuba help Goku against indestructible creatures in Magic? Possibly. But even if he can't seal them away, he might have another option. You see, currently Goku is arguably at a low multiversal level of power. His power-ups are capable of shaking entire realms, such as when he powered up to Super Saiyan 3. His battle with Beerus in Battle of Gods was a threat to the very existence of the universe itself, as it threatened to break the barriers between dimensions. And keep in mind that the Universe 7 we know in Dragon Ball actually consists of what can be considered multiple realms or smaller universes beyond the physical one, such as Heaven, Hell, and the Realm of the Kais. Depending on the source, the physical universe of Dragon Ball itself is stated to be potentially infinite, although older sources dispute this claim. If this is the case, could it be conceivable that Goku could break through the dimensional walls of a Magic the Gathering plane? First, we need to know exactly how big a plane is in Magic the Gathering. The answer is, it varies. The sources I found said some like Dominaria are quite large, maybe similar in size to our own universe. However, others are much smaller. Ravnica is a giant city plane that different sources say is either the size of our moon or slightly larger. Duskmorn is of indeterminate size since it's a haunted mansion that absorbed the rest of the plane inside itself. And Segovia is tinier still, with everything inside it about 1/100th the size it would be on other planes. For example, their Leviathan is about the size of a standard elephant. So if Goku determines he can't beat a threat like the Eldrazi, could he just break a hole in reality and shove it through? Maybe. The Eldrazi actually originate from the Blind Eternities and are even more powerful there than they are on the actual planes they visit. Stated another way, an Eldrazi Titan's physical manifestation on a plane is more analogous to a hand reaching into a bowl of water for a drink, where the human outside the bowl of water is much bigger, more powerful, and incomprehensibly smarter. But let's say for the sake of the argument that Goku only has to contend with these physical titans themselves. Without a means to close up the rift he tears into the Blind Eternities or seal the Eldrazi's original means of entry into the plane, Goku might use up a lot of energy just to delay the inevitable in the best case scenario. Or worse, he might just let even more Eldrazi pour in. But could this method work on smaller indestructible threats? Potentially, it would be more akin to exiling them, which is a perfectly viable strategy against creatures that can't be destroyed. Still, Goku would have to do some serious improvising and output a lot of power to accomplish something like this, and there's no guarantee these threats wouldn't just kill him first. After all, to use one example, Ronus the Indomitable has both Deathtouch and Indestructible. Ultimately, Goku's ability to deal with indestructible creatures depends on how strong they are and the threat they pose, with higher tier opponents possibly proving to be beyond his reach. Verdict: Goku has serious trouble, and it only gets worse for Goku from here. Something I haven't even touched on yet is the magical nature of the MTG universe. I mean, it's right in the name. That's what the M is for. As stated earlier, Goku doesn't really concern himself with magic if he doesn't have to, but other characters are more than capable of using it. Many Namekians use magic, including Piccolo and Dende, and that's how the Dragon Balls themselves operate. Several characters from the OG Dragon Ball were also magic users. Babidi used magic to release Majin Buu, and the Space Wizard's magic was even capable of neutralizing physical and key attacks many magnitudes beyond his actual strength. It's clear that magic is a serious force in the Dragon Ball universe. Now, to use Babidi as an example again, magic isn't necessarily all-powerful. Vegeta was able to resist Babidi's mind control magic after the Saiyan used Old Wrinklehead to obtain a power boost for his own selfish gain. Goku has demonstrated the ability to tank magic attacks as far back as Dragon Ball since he's pure of heart, and magic often operates using rules like that. But the same can't be said for the power of the Dragon Balls. Shenron can grant wishes that alter reality itself, from reviving dead people to transporting them instantly across the universe, and even altering a person's height and other features. Other dragons can also cause a random nobody to become the strongest fighter in the universe without a day of training. Scale this up to the Super Dragon Balls, which can grant any wish ever, even restoring an entire universe that was deleted, and you can see that there's more to power in the DB-verse than push-ups, sit-ups, and plenty of juice. So how would the magic of the multiverse fare against Goku? Well, there's as much variety to that magic as there is variety among the various planes in the Blind Eternities. After all, each non-land card in Magic is considered a spell, and a library is meant to consist of all the spells a player knows or wants to use in a given conflict. Sure, Goku might be able to resist some mind-controlling magic, but the most powerful planeswalkers aren't even concerned with trivial parlor tricks like that. Liliana Vess gained immense power from demonic bargaining and is capable of raising the dead of an entire plane to do her bidding, no Dragon Balls required. Teferi wields the power of time itself and can phase entire kingdoms out of reality, creating new planes from the Cataclysm. For a power like that, you'd have to look at someone at least on Whis' level in Super. There are others like Urza with his incredible intellect and power of artifice, Elspeth, who was presumed dead in a massive blast but was reborn as an Archangel planeswalker, and the enigmatic Aminatu, who can see across planes and change destiny itself. This isn't even touching on more powerful dragon planeswalkers like Ugin and Nicol Bolas, whose manipulations change the histories of entire planes as they struggle against one another. Unfortunately, if these beings even humored Goku with a physical battle, it's unlikely he would stand a chance against most of them in a fair fight, and you know that's what Goku would demand. Above power scales like Planeswalkers and Eldrazi, you have beings like the Dragon, the progenitor of all dragonkind in the multiverse. The beat of its wings alone creates cosmic storms that give birth to other cosmically powerful dragons like the aforementioned Ugin and Nicol Bolas. It's so powerful that it's beyond the concept of time and space itself. On scales like this, battle becomes utterly meaningless, and Goku could unfortunately be one-shotted accidentally without his opponent even noticing it happened. That's assuming he could even survive the chaos of the Blind Eternities on their own, which is unlikely since he can't even breathe in outer space. Final verdict: Goku definitely cannot solo Magic's multiverse. However, I think it goes to show how powerful he really is that you have to bring in names like Nicol Bolas to prove that beyond a shadow of a doubt. There's my extremely brief take on Goku versus the multiverse of Magic. Do you agree or disagree? Did you find this interesting, or do I obviously know nothing about either of these subjects? I'd love to hear your thoughts either way in the comments below, and let me know if you'd be interested in any other Magic the Gathering related versus battles. If you've made it to this outro, I appreciate you being here, and I hope to see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.